Good afternoon, and welcome to the launch of ASAT-1. Now at T-minus 5 minutes away from launch, on your screen you can see both Booster 7 and Second Stage 12, which are both almost fully fueled. And fueling should wrap up at around T-minus 1 minute and 45 seconds. Now we've had quite a few launch attempts over the past few days. Our first launch attempt only missed the launch window by about 5 minutes. And our second flight attempt being scrubbed due to an issue on ASAT-1. And that brings us to our third attempt today. Now with just about 4 minutes to launch, I'm going to talk about our flight profile for today. Now at T-minus 2 seconds, the 7 crypto engines, which you can see on your screen right now, will ignite. Then liftoff will occur at T+1 second. Then the next thing we will see will be max Q at around T+1 minute into flight. Followed by booster engine cutoff, stage separation, and second stage engine ignition at around T+2 minutes into flight. Booster 7 will then perform a 180-degree flip and then ignite its central engine and perform its boost back burn. This boost back burn will last for about 20 to 30 seconds. About halfway through that boost back burn, we'll have second stage fairing separation, where ASAT-1 will then be exposed to the vacuum of space. And I did just hear that we will be going into a planned hold for just a few minutes to finish pressurizing the first stage booster. And you can see right now that we are in fact in that planned hold. Now I'm going to leave for the time being, but I will be back whenever we are back into countdown. Hello, and welcome back. And as you can see, we now have a new T0 at T-minus 3 minutes and 45 seconds. As said earlier, our teams just needed a few extra minutes to finish pressurizing our first stage booster. Now, earlier I was going over today's flight profile, but got interrupted by the hold. So, I'm going to go over that now. Now, at T-minus 2 seconds, all 7 crypto engines on the first stage booster will ignite, followed by liftoff at T plus 1 second. Then we will see max Q at around 1 minute into flight, followed by booster engine shutdown, stage separation, and second stage engine ignition. Then booster 7 will perform its boost back burn, where it will ignite its center crypto engine to perform its boost back burn and bring itself back to the landing zone. And on your screen right now, you can see ASAT-1 encapsulated in our fairings. Speaking of which, the 2 fairing halves should separate about halfway through the booster boost back burn. Now the booster will do its boost back burn for about 20 to 30 seconds before shutting down that center engine, where it will then coast for a few minutes as it glides itself back to the landing zone, where we should then see it ignite 3 of its engines and then shut the outer 2 off a few seconds later, where it will then perform its final landing burn on 1 engine. Meanwhile, the second stage will have made its way into orbit and is now coasting. The second stage will then coast for about 10 minutes before deploying ASAT-1, where it will then coast for another 3 days before performing its deorbit burn and re-entering the atmosphere, where it will then be recovered and brought back for inspections. We will have a separate stream dedicated to second stage re-entry. And now that we're approaching T-minus 1 minute, I'm going to be quiet and listen for callouts. And flight director is go for launch. Now keep a close eye on the bottom of the rocket for that water deluge system activation. That water deluge should activate at around T-minus 20 seconds. And I'm now going to stay quiet as we listen to ignition. That was an amazing liftoff. And we're coming up on fairing separation. There it is right now. And there we have boost back shutdown. There it is. Now these videos are about a few seconds behind. Now I'm going to await confirmation that booster is targeting the landing zone. Because if something is not looking correct on the booster, it will target a hard splashdown in the ocean. But it does sound like booster is coming back to land. And I just heard the call out that booster is indeed coming back to landing zone. Now we should be seeing booster landing at around T plus 6 minutes into flight. Though it does look like our countdown clock is having a little bit of issues, so we've gone ahead and removed that. I'm sorry, we're about 2 minutes away from that landing. And here in just a few seconds, we should see booster reorientate itself. Now, bear with us here as our booster's video does appear to be cutting out a little bit. And right there we can see booster reorientating itself to increase its gliding. Now, we use 2 giant strakes on the side of the booster to glide it back to the landing zone. And booster is following a nominal trajectory. And we just got confirmation that the second stage is now in orbit. And we are just a few seconds away from that landing burn. And we can see those engines prepping themselves for landing burn. And we can see a night vision tracker of the booster. And we are just about 30 seconds away from landing burn ignition. And we can see the booster venting as it comes down to land. Booster's flight termination system has now been safed. And we can see that booster coming in to land. And there we see engine ignition. All 3 engines ignited. And there we have touchdown. There's a tiny fire at the base, but that is okay. That was amazing. We now have Booster 7 safely on the ground. And you can see a view of the payload for today's mission, ASAT-1. Second stage is in a nominal orbit. And payload deployment should be in just a little over 15 minutes. Now, I will be back whenever we get closer to payload deployment. Until then, enjoy the views. Hello and welcome back to today's mission. We are currently just a little bit away from payload deployment. ASAT-1 has been successfully powered on and is now awaiting deployment in just a few moments. And about a minute after payload deployment, ASAT will open both of its solar panels. And there we can see payload deployment. ASAT-1 is now floating away from our second stage. Now, speaking of the second stage, in about 3 days' time, the second stage will ignite its deorbit boosters and start re-entering the atmosphere, where it will then be recovered and brought back for post-flight inspections. That will give us a better understanding of what the second stage goes through during re-entry. And with Block 4 coming online next year, we're going to be recovering and reflying Block 4's second stages along with boosters. Now, we will have a separate dedicated stream to second stage deorbit and re-entry. So, go to @Sunsurfers Aerospace on X or go to the community tab on our YouTube channel to stay updated on when we go live for second stage re-entry. And you can see right there ASAT-1 deploying both of its solar panels. And now that wraps up everything we had planned for this stream. But don't forget, we will be going live in about 2 days for second stage re-entry and splashdown. Now, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. We had such an amazing launch today. And I'm going to leave y'all with views of ASAT-1 in orbit. And thank you all for tuning in to today's launch. Until next time, we are Sunsurfers Aerospace, and we hope you enjoyed today's launch.